I'm Jeff on T's Bill Thorpe. It's Monday.
Almost Christmas. I still got to do some shopping. I do. Being honest, I do.
Just got to put your head down, crank through the whole list, make sure you get everybody, and then don't look at your credit card statement until next month. Welcome. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, 7 a.m., Mile High City. We are Denver's right, left, center debate show. Lots to discuss. Most importantly, we want you to be a part of the conversation. We are talking a lot. The attack that took place, Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle stabbed to death. TMZ reporting that their throats were slit. We'll get into that. Goodness gracious. By the way, Bill, do you know Michelle was the one apparently that took the picture on Donald Trump's book?
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
Yeah, the Art of the Deal. That famous picture of him with the trees in the background, all that stuff.
I had no idea.
Came from Michelle Reiner. We'll cover that. We're going to talk the shooting that took place in Australia. Paris canceling its New Year's Eve celebration on the Champs-Élysées as a result of growing migrant violence, New York Post reporting. Is it getting out of control with particularly Muslim immigration into Western Europe, America, Australia? The attacks that are taking place upon the Jews, a strong indicator that it's getting out of control. I mean, you had Jews here in Colorado firebombed by a Muslim immigrant. The shooting that took place in Australia, the father of Muslim immigrant, the son born in Australia. Is it getting too much, and is it a threat to Western civilization? Let's go to the phone lines. Ron in Greeley. Good morning, Ron. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Yeah, it is definitely getting out of hand. And when I was listening to him and hearing him show, some support of, yeah, we can let the Muslims do what they want. And what happens is, isn't it the LGBTQ that are for Muslims as well? And it's so amazing because it's like the chickens letting the wolf into their hen house, because that's what's going to happen. And they don't hide it. I think we've gone over this so many times, and we're seeing it happen over in Australia. We're seeing it happen in France. We're going to be seeing it happen here. It's already happening here in Dearborn, in Minnesota. And why are we going, wow, what is going on? I mean, they are telling us what they're going to do, and they don't care because they're multiplying way faster than we will. There was a stat that showed that even, it was in England, that even if they changed now, it's too late. The Muslims are going to overtake as far as the population at the rate that they're producing. There's nothing that can be done.
Okay, and your point is what, Ron? So if it becomes majority Muslim, your point is what?
Really, Bill?
Yeah.
I agree with Jeff. I mean, obviously we need to draw you pictures because it's plain as day. They will take over. They don't care. And it's starting with the Jews. They don't care what religion you are. If you're not Muslim, you're an enemy. Period.
Here's the problem. Now, I understand we're talking, and again, part of this is France. France has built into their constitution the idea of secularism. So they would have to get to a point to where they would have to change the fundamental founding document of the country. And it would also have to happen here. Because, again, once they start implementing laws based on their holy book, that would fly in the face of our Constitution. I understand, Ron, that you're playing a numbers game, but the Constitution prevents that idea of a theocracy regardless of religion.
Bill, they're doing that right now in Dearborn. They are invoking Sharia law.
When and how?
Overriding our law.
No, Ron, when and how?
Within recently is 2 months.
That's not my question. Ron, crap. Hang on a sec here. I don't know why that fired. Now I don't even know if we're on the air again. This is great. Mondays are great.
Can you hear us, Ron?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean,
Ron, but I'm asking Ron, where, and what are they doing in Dearborn? You're saying it's already happening, and what is the thing that's happening in Dearborn? Explain it to the audience. What's happening in Dearborn when you're saying that the Muslims are taking over?
Well, Bill, and I do apologize because I didn't realize that I needed to have those stats.
Well, Ron, it's important. And the reason, Ron, okay, then let me walk you through it. Ron, let me walk you through it then. If you don't know, it's important because it is under civil matters, not criminal matters. It has to do with inside of their community when there are divorces and other issues inside of the law, they're asking for deference that they can follow their religious text on those.
Wrong.
They're not asking, no, Ron, that is what's happening. And they're not asking for it. They're not asking for it as far as the criminal side of things, and that's not what they're doing in Dearborn based on my research so far, that they're looking at the civil side of things.
Your research is very limited because you can go as far back as I remember it was at least, gosh, I dare say 10 years ago when, and it was in Dearborn, what was happening is that you had Muslims walking the streets at night, going up to American citizens and ridiculing the way that the women were dressed. And, I mean, it was videotaped. You can watch it. And they're telling them, you need to go in and change. And they're like caught off guard. They think they're being punked. And it's like, what are you talking about? And they said, this is unacceptable. You cannot be dressed like that. You cannot be showing yourself like that.
There is no large-scale information or reporting or anything on Sharia law being enforced in Dearborn. Not in the criminal sense of things. Not at all. So you may have seen stuff, may not have been true. I understand you might have seen stuff, but it's not. That's not what's shown based on just the basic research. The Sharia law is being enforced on civil matters within their community, meaning if you are not Muslim, it doesn't hold for you. That's what they're looking at right now.
I'll tell you what. I'll take your challenge, and just let me know where I can go. Where can I email you something? Is there a general email that you guys have?
Just use my name. It's Salem, Denver. You should be able to find me. Yeah.
But I think here's
what I'll do is I'll email you proof of this because obviously you're doing exactly what you said, a general information. You need to go deeper because it is there. And because you're not seeing it and because you're on the air saying you're not seeing it, does not mean it is happening.
I know, Ron, but I've told you I've tried to look. I've tried to look, and I haven't found what anybody's claiming about Sharia law being enforced anywhere in the U.S., especially on the criminal side of things.
All right, but there's another aspect of this, and Ron, I appreciate the call, that you have 53 Muslim majority countries in the world, and once you end up with a Muslim majority of those countries, religious freedom goes out the window. Here's a really good point from 8422. Look what happened to Colorado when 51% of Democrats got in control. Now, you could say, well, you have the Constitution there that will protect their overreach. Well, we haven't seen that on gun control. They just walked right through the Second Amendment once they got over 51% of control. And I think that's what people are concerned about is you have 53 countries. You have plenty of examples of what happens to countries when you end up with Muslim majority control and you end up with Christians and Jews becoming second-class citizens. This is a reality. Feel free to give us a call and join the conversation. 303-696-1971 is the phone line. Text us at 720-819-5115. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Monday morning. Hope you had a good weekend. It was a rough weekend in the news. 35 and clear in Denver, expecting a high of 61 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, we'll talk about the Broncos in a second here after their big win, but Rob Reiner, famed actor and director, and his wife Michelle are dead. Their bodies found inside their home in LA's Brentwood neighborhood Sunday. The apparent victims of a stabbing. Some reports say one of their sons may be the suspect. He directed When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, Misery, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Stand By Me. if you're my age, you remember
Great
him.
movies.
Yeah, those are great movies. And I remember him in All in the Family. I mean, that was a great character there. Yeah, it's just a horrible story. And we'll learn more in the hours to come. One person is dead. Following an 8-hour standoff with police in Greeley last night, a woman reported a man was in her home, assaulted her, had a shotgun. She escaped. Thankfully, police discovered hours later that he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. New York Mayor Kami Dani is condemning the terror attack on an Australian Hanukkah celebration over the weekend. I would hope so. At least 15 people were murdered Sunday at a popular Sydney beach by two Islamo nutjobs, with dozens of others left wounded. It's just horrific, the whole thing. The New York mayor says that he mourns the victims and promised he'd keep Jewish New Yorkers safe. Let's hope so. If he's not soft on crime, that he may be able to do that, but we shall see.
I mean, please go to my X account, x.com/Jeff Hunt, and just watch how the Palestinian protesters reacted to one single Israeli flag.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look. I want to lay this out for people because this doesn't happen all the time, right? I go to March for Lives, and people will show up and counter protest at the March for Life. They do all the time. Okay. Watch how pro-life people respond to that. It's oftentimes, hey, let's talk about it. Can we pray about it? All that type of stuff. And guys, it's not logical, okay? That's what people, I think, are wrestling with here, is because they want to approach this situation and go, well, there's obviously some reason why the Palestinians really don't like the Jews, and it could be the battle and the fight that's taking place there. Okay, I get that. And you can believe that genocide's happening. I don't think it is, but you can believe that. Okay. Just there's an illogical rage that exists between Muslims and Jews, that on the Muslim side, that you can't explain other than it just being an illogical rage. And I have video of it. I was there in between them, in between Palestinians and a single guy holding a Jewish flag, and the F-bombs, the rage, the spit coming out. They're yelling so much at this, and then you end up with this, well, they just need to assimilate better, or they need to learn English, or, and then no, this is a bloodlust that's rooted in 2,000 years. And not only that, it's spiritual as well. I think there's a spiritual element to this.
Oh, absolutely.
So go to x.com/Jeff. If you don't believe me, if you think that there just needs to be better assimilation with Islamists, and then they won't necessarily want to kill the Jews, go watch that. That was Chicago. That was last year. And now you have Jews that have been firebombed in Colorado since. Now they're shooting in Australia. It's dangerous, man.
And they believe they're doing what their God is telling them to do.
That's exactly right.
And so that's almost impossible to fight that. So you gotta protect your borders, number one, and have a sovereign nation and protect your culture. There is no question about that. Police still searching for the gunman who killed at least 2 students and wounded 9 others at Brown University in Rhode Island on Saturday. The investigation continues after police released a person of interest from custody last night. Rhode Island AG Peter Nerona says that he is confident the case will soon be solved. Let's hope so. Man, what a weekend. All right, Packers at the Broncos. Denver going for 11 straight wins. End of the third, Broncos down 23-21.
On a 2nd and 15. Nix to the end zone. Franklin has it. Touchdown, Broncos.
Beautiful pass, beautiful catch. Bo Nix to Troy Franklin. And Franklin and the catch puts the Broncos in the lead 34-26. And the final, the Knicks threw for 302 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Cortland Sutton, 7 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Late in the game, the Packers with the ball trying to come back on 4th and 10.
Packers have got to have it. Not going to get a pass away. The Orange Rush able to take him down for the 3rd time.
That was awesome. Defense was incredible. And the Broncos now 12-2 overall. Bo Nix, great answer after the game.
Well, thanks a lot. And Bo, congratulations. What a game. You guys came in winners of 10 straight, now 11, but you were the underdogs. What did this team show against a really difficult Packers team?
That we're the overdogs.
What was the biggest difference today? Awesome. What really changed the momentum down the stretch?
I think every unit played great. We had key plays in all units. Defense just kept playing at the end, and they got stop after stop after stop. They got 2 really big turnovers, and then offensively, we got touchdowns today instead of field goals. Now, we want to close out the game better. We got 2 opportunities to push it and get more points, but I guess we just like one-score games.
That's awesome. When you win a game like that against a quality opponent like the Packers, you have a chance. So, huge victory for the Broncos. Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. The video was horrible. Out for the rest of the season, and the rehabilitation, that is going to be extremely difficult. We will not see the Chiefs in the playoffs this year for the first time since 2014. 44
It's like an early Christmas gift.
I was thinking about you when I saw that.
Yeah. And I watched Mahomes
fans
get hurt.
happy.
That was tough. That was that was things where I didn't want anything long term, but just to have him not play for a couple of weeks in a sore knee because for the Broncos, that's okay. I can okay, but the ACL tear, that was a surprise. I didn't think it was going to be an ACL tear when I saw the
Is
injury.
that right?
Yeah. It looked more like a hyperextended knee because it
kind of did. You're right.
Because it looks like he came down with the knee extended straight and then it bent backwards. But of course, that will snap the ACL. But I figured it wasn't going to be necessarily that bad. So this is the first time he's faced any sort of major surgery and recovery. I'm hoping he's going to be okay on the other side. Yeah, it's okay for for players to get knocked out for a little while, but you don't want anything long term. Like the one time, oh good Lord, okay, we got to talk about this. Did y'all see the hit that the Bronco put on the Packer where he blew the guy back into the running back?
Yes,
and the dude went out with
that was
awesome play.
Wow.
Who's that guy? He's got the long
play.
hair, right?
Yeah, it's I forgot I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, he's a wonderful safety. And the dude's a beast. He is fantastic.
Tackled a guy through a guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he blew
that
up
was
2
amazing.
people.
Yeah, he threw the guy back so far he tackled the other guy. That was amazing to watch. If that is not an end of the season highlight, I don't know what is. That
defense is special, man.
Yeah, here's the thing.
No doubt.
We talked about this earlier that. I don't feel that the Broncos are the odds-on favorite to be in the AFC Championship or the odds-on favorite to be in the Super Bowl nor win it, but they're scary if you have to play them because of exactly what you saw with the Packers. The Packers, the first 5 times they touched the ball yesterday, scored, and then everything was different. And if you look at the first half and what Jordan Love was able to do, and you look at the second half, that's why it's scary to play the Broncos.
No doubt.
It's not that we're some sort of world beater. It's that can you, if you're having success, sustain that for the entire game? And Denver eventually seems to figure a few things out.
No doubt. They made the adjustments at halftime.
Yeah, which Sean Payton's been lambasted, earlier in his career for not making halftime adjustments. And now these adjustments, all of a sudden, Packers couldn't do anything. That's why I would be scared to play the Broncos, is simply
especially
because of games
a mile
like that.
high. Especially at home.
Yeah, especially at home. That if they can get the first seed, that's going to be a real advantage to getting all the way to the AFC Championship. Who knows? Again, not odds-on favorite, but they're that team that you don't want to play simply because of the problems they'll cause you. Yeah.
No question. But the Rams and the Broncos in the Super Bowl would be a great matchup.
That would be insane. That would be good.
Yeah, that would be. That would be a
good.
lot of fun. I mean, they proved a lot on Sunday. The Broncos did to me that when you win against a team like the Packers, as talented as they are, and the way Bo Nix just continues to improve.
Yeah, he does.
Oh man. I mean, he threw some nice balls, man.
Yeah, he threw some great balls. The other part is he knows when the play's over. That's what I appreciate most about it.
Right.
He's like, this one's done. It's like the idea when Peyton Manning, late in his career when he was here at the Broncos, he'd pull back and he'd look and he's like, nope, this is over, and just spike it. He's like, we're going. And you're like, wait, what? And he's like, no, there's nothing I can do there.
That's right.
That's
so
I appreciate
important.
that. I appreciate that because football is the one where you're like, do over.
Live to see another day.
Exactly, rather than going backwards. Yeah,
absolutely. Like Phillip Rivers did his entire career. 44-year-old grandfather. 18 of 27, 120 yards with a TD and one interception after only 4 practices.
Did you guys hear why he went back?
Why did he go back?
I didn't.
Yeah, so in his coaching, and I know this because one of our friend's sons is on his team in Alabama.
Yeah.
Is he's all about no fear. Like, rise to the challenge. Whatever you're asked to do it without fear, do it with confidence, rise to the challenge. So he wanted to prove that type of motto and that living to his to the kids he teamed with.
Wow, that's great.
Is that awesome?
Yeah, that's good. Well, here's
he's a good
Phillip.
Catholic guy, man.
Yeah, that's great. Here's Rivers talking about that. Even though they lost 18-16, Seahawks are a great team. They're one of those teams that could end up in the Super Bowl. Tough place to play, and he was a field goal away from winning it. And here he is talking about what Jeff was discussing.
Certainly, I think of my sons and those ball players, that I'm in charge of at the school, that they'll say, like, crap, coach wasn't scared. You know what I mean? It's like, shoot, sometimes there is doubt, and it's real. And again, you can the guaranteed safe bet is to go home or to not go for it, and the other one is, shoot, let's see what happens. And so I hope that in that sense that it can be a positive to some young boys, or young people. It doesn't have to be boys, but again, that's not the motivation. But whatever God's will, I'm happy with. But certainly going to quickly turn my attention to the 49ers.
That's great. He's ready to win.
So they're going to keep him around. Game. Is he going to finish the season?
Oh, I would imagine. I would hope so. I hope
awesome.
He didn't do it just for that game, because he played pretty well.
Not bad for a 44-year-old.
He almost won it.
I mean, look, the NFL, it's all about victories, right? So we're having a little bit of a bleep moment right now, right? Like a blip in the system where we're willing to allow the old guy to trot back out there because at the end of the day, it's all going to be about victories. But for all of us old guys, he's my age. He's my age. And to go, yes, there's still one last shot in each one of us.
Absolutely. And they have, the Colts were the hottest team in football, and then they hit a wall, but they have 8 wins. So
they might
what do we have? 3 more games left. So, we could see him in the playoffs, which would be incredible. You would think he'll only get better, but the Niners, that's going to be a tough one.
Until he gets sacked.
Well, he got
hit?
blasted.
Did he?
He got blasted yesterday. Oh, yeah.
Oh, if I was one of the young guys, I'd be gunning so hard and put Grandpa on his back.
Oh, absolutely. They're saying that. I mean, that's, they respect him, but they're trying to knock him out.
It's a game, 100%.
Absolutely. In the NFL, though, today, the quarterback is protected a lot. He was wearing a rib protector. And he's got a little belly, not as big as mine, but man, he got blasted by a linebacker coming in there, I think. But he jumped back up, man. It was great to see. So that'll be fun to watch. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, on the other end of the scale, or the youngster, 18 of 35, 177 yards, 3 interceptions, and sacked 5 times, as Billy was talking about earlier. 31-3 loss to the Bears. You got to get rid of the football somehow, some way. And just in case you missed it, Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman over the weekend, and Diego Pavia, he dropped an F-bomb, told the voters to F off, and then he has since apologized. That's good. That was not a good look for him. 34 in Centennial, 33 in Westminster, 35 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill on a Monday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 KNUS forecast this early Monday. A few passing clouds this morning. Temperatures in the mid-30s to start the day. For the rest of your Monday, plenty of sunshine. More like spring with highs around 65. Partly cloudy tonight, lows down to 35. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Hey, Dean Martin, let us know. This is a fun one. Although, again, we talked about this Christmas song that doesn't necessarily mention Christmas. Written on one of the hottest days of the year, but you probably have not heard the original version of this. It was I forgot the gentleman's name, but it was recorded back in 1945. There is a version that predates this one in the 60s. It went to number 1. It was really, really popular. But Dean Martin's became really, really popular and pretty much the Christmas standard once we started doing those all Christmas music stations in about 2015, 2018, somewhere in there. So it just took over, and now this is the most popular one, but there is an original first recording out there. God, I don't remember the guy's name. I wish I could pull it in my head right now. But it's right around 1945 is the original version of this. And the songwriting duo that did this actually did a counterpart for summer. It's called The Things We Did Last Summer. So they have a winter version and a summer version.
Wow.
I know. And I still can't do division.
Well done, Mr. Thor.
Thank you.
All right, we're talking the tragedy in Australia. Father and son allegedly, according to officials there, said killed at least 15 people at a Jewish holiday celebration. They were gathered on Bondi Beach in Australia, celebrate Hanukkah. And 2 Islamists showed up, started just shooting them. Terrible. 15 people killed. It's not only Australia that's dealing with Islamist issues. Paris, fearful of migrant violence, canceled the New Year's Eve concert on the Champs-Élysées. I did take French for 5 years, but you wouldn't know it. It's Western civilization, Western Europe, the United States, Australia, dealing with an Islamist problem. Populations in Europe of Muslims have reached 15 to 30% in some cases. Colorado, on the other hand, 1%. My thesis, my argument this morning is that, yeah, you can have some Muslims immigrate in, but you can't get above 5%. Once you start getting above 5%, you're dealing with really serious cultural differences. Cultural differences that have been found over 2,000 years. And if Muslim communities are so great to live in, why do we have 53 of them, Muslim majority countries, where you have almost no Jewish communities, no Christian communities, religious freedom isn't practiced, women's rights sure aren't practiced. So you have examples of what happens in Muslim-dominated communities. And Europe now getting to 30%. That would be 30 times the Muslim population that Colorado has. So these are serious cultural differences that need to be evaluated by leaders in our communities to recognize the direction that our countries are going. And are we going to still have the freedoms that we all had? Is the Constitution a bulwark against challenges of Sharia law? Things like that. Give us a call. Join the conversation. Let's go to Aaron, Denver. Good morning, Aaron. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Yeah, well, morning there, guys. I'm disappointed in the Paris, in the Macron government for canceling that celebration. When it comes to terrorism, you just cannot let that happen. You know, that's what terrorism is about, to scare you, to frighten you, so you can go hide under a rock somewhere. They should continue that celebration, even though you worry about quote-unquote security issues. You still got to continue that celebration.
And Aaron, I appreciate that, but in a lot of these like little Christmas villages that would pop up, you know, in Germany and other places like that, the security costs have gotten so overwhelming that they can't continue to do them anymore. They're canceling them.
They shouldn't do that, because you're just kowtowing to that these incidents. And like I said, this stuff, when you hear it's like history repeating itself. Hitler invades France. Does the French put up a fight against Hitler? No, they just let Hitler come through there and do what he wants to do. Didn't put up a resistance whatsoever. So I mean, and of course, Islam didn't kill 6 million Jews. The powers that be in Europe, in Germany, killed 6 million Jews. So this scapegoating. There's a lot of scapegoating going on, and of course Hitler scapegoated the Jews. The Jews have been scapegoated since the Jews have been around on planet Earth. I get tired of the scapegoating that's been going on, and this violence. Of course, it's just senseless violence in the name of so-called religion, whatever that religion is, in the name of God. I'm killing in the name of my God. I guess so. It's something that's just been going on since the Crusades, and this battle, this constant battle going on because of the human condition, looking for who to blame for my problems or my woes in life, and that's anywhere on planet Earth, and this will continue until people start treating religion in moderation. But unfortunately, you have there's some people out there, and that's in any population, whether it's Christian or whatever religion people want to practice on planet Earth, that just take it to the extreme and want to kill people, want to murder people, and all this other stuff. And you brought up what's going on in these Muslim countries, but there's even pushback in these countries where especially when it comes to women are starting to even in Iran, women are pushing back there. So even they're starting to wake up, and they're getting tired of dealing with the draconian.
But Aaron, they don't. They don't. So, for instance, we spent trillions of dollars into Afghanistan with the belief. I remember this because I made the argument that if they just taste democracy and girls being educated, then they will embrace it and the world will change. And we're on the march, the neocon march, to bring enlightenment to the rest of the world. And $1 trillion, thousands of lives later, the minute we're out, they kick the girls back out the school. They're done with democracy, and the Taliban's right back in control.
Yeah, but like I said, though, the only good thing the United States that did when they were in Afghanistan, they shouldn't have been there 20 years. But it did give the women, the quote-unquote girls or women, a breather from the Taliban. And of course, now, because of the way the United States left Afghanistan, which was a complete disaster, the Taliban have gotten back to these draconian rules. And, women can't go to school, they can't drive a car, they can't ride a motorcycle. I mean, all this other insanity. It's just stupid stuff. But, I have hope for the future. In time, this mentality will come to an end, and I guess it will be up to the women in those countries to say enough is enough.
Yeah, but Aaron, it's so deeply rooted in those cultures, and that's why it's important to have. I understand you don't want to scapegoat, but you also want to be honest and not necessarily build your communities around whether it's neo-Nazis or Islamists. Aaron, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right, let's talk Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551. 5551 or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, CAPLIS Law.com. We'll continue. Phone lines are hot. Jump in. We got one open line. We're going to get to Dwayne and Barney next. Here's the phone number, 303-696-1971. Join the conversation. If you can't call, text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, CAN-US. Oh, hey, Dolly Parton. Hard Candy Christmas. Again, a Christmas song doesn't really talk about Christmas.
Did she just recently lose her husband?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little while ago. Yeah. Now, this comes from the Broadway play, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, is where this comes from. It's one of the few songs from the musical that makes its way into the movie. Yeah, it's not really a Christmas carol. It was talking about people that are down on their luck, suffering hard times, and then at Christmas, all you can get is hard candy. That's the origin of the song. The gal that wrote it actually wrote some songs for Sesame Street. I don't remember the names of them, but she's got a couple of songs in Sesame Street that she wrote. And Dolly Parton tells a wonderful story about growing up dirt poor when she was a kid, about going out, not really having electricity and stuff in the house, and going out and cutting the tree down and bringing it back in and then decorating with anything. Popcorn, buttons, ribbon, string, whatever they have. Those were their, those were their kind of Christmas decorations, back in the day. That is really cool.
He's a walking encyclopedia, folks.
I know.
Bill Thorpe.
And it's ridiculous, the stuff that I just can't. the things that would be helpful in regular life, yeah, but I know this kind of stuff. Yeah.
We are talking the tragedy in Australia, 15 killed by 2 Islamists, Australian officials reporting, as Jews were trying to celebrate Hanukkah. These guys show up and start yelling Allah Akbar and shooting Jews. It's a serious problem. You have Jews here in Colorado lit on fire by a Muslim immigrant. France now canceling New York Eve's I keep because it says NYE.
Yeah.
So I keep wanting to do New Year's Eve concert on the Champs-Élysées, the beautiful Eiffel Tower, and all those people there. Nope, canceled. In part because of migrant violence growing. Europe at, depending on the country, between 15 and 30% Muslim populations as a result of immigration and birth rates. Colorado at 1%. Is there a number that's just too high where the community really starts to change? And look, you have examples. You have 53 Muslim majority countries where Christians and Jews are treated like second-class citizens. There's definitely no women's rights. Not in every country, but in most of them. And is that what's going to happen to Western Europe? If there's too many Muslims, Islamists, that immigrate into those countries? And are Jews going to face eradication? There's very few Jewish communities, if any at all, in the Muslim majority countries. Is this a real threat we need to take care of? Or is this just what's happened in America anytime a group tries to immigrate here, whether it's the Chinese or the Poles, or is this different? Give us a call. Join the conversation. Let's go to the phone lines. Dwayne and Divide. Good morning, Dwayne. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. What a weekend. We lose Mr. Reiner and his wife, and over in Brown University, they got a guy they're holding. Then they say he's not the one responsible. Rhode Island, the Attorney General sits there and goes, we don't know what's going on. And the head person of Brown University, why were all the students together? We don't know. And the one thing I don't understand is in Australia, there was a gun buyback. There aren't supposed to be any guns. 700,000 guns were confiscated or bought back. How did this guy have a weapon?
They have a licensing program in Australia. My understanding is the guy had a license for 5 or 6 firearms that he had been approved for. So they have a licensing structure in Australia. So it's not as if they don't have any guns. They do have a way that is much more onerous than ours in order to own firearms. And again, I'm not sure of the exact number, but I know it's at least 5. The father that was involved in the shooting had at least 5 licenses to own guns inside of Australia.
Well, with all the buybacks and everything else, it kind of comes back to not the reason to take guns away, but the reasons to carry. I guess my bigger question is with all of this is that this is just a spurt of what's going to become, I think, a very long-term item throughout the year. Jeff, you're way too young. You wouldn't have remembered, and Bill, you would, all the little skirmishes that went on in France, Germany, and most throughout Europe of terrorism people. And the Jackal, who was the guy that was organizing a lot of it and was finally captured, and it was done by a Cuban-American who looked a lot like him. It's a fantastic story to see about that. And in the Philippines, there were always all kinds of skirmishes about this. And, as one comedian said one time, with these religious wars, we're going to know who's right at the end of some of this because we're just going to wear each other out.
Yeah, I think with some of these religious wars is almost the idea that we'll just kill the other side and then let God sort it out, that as long as we think it's righteous. And I worry about people that are using their religion or their belief, as the reason for X, Y, or Z. I mean, we even have people in this country that are call themselves Christian preachers that say things like giving women the right to vote was a bad idea. So, when I hear that it is these Muslim countries and this Muslim influence, I can find it on all sorts of sides. I can find influence of people pointing back to their religion and saying, this is why I need to restrict these individuals' rights, and I need to do this based on my holy text. And I struggle that with my own, inside of my own faith. And it's difficult because while I believe that Christianity is the one true faith, I have a hard time saying that because that's my belief system, everybody else needs to follow the laws and the rules. That's a hard thing to do.
But here's the question, is I wonder if, and Yorm Hazoni wrestles with this as well, is can secularism withstand these? Or does it collapse? In part by just the numbers. People that are secular tend to have less children. They don't build families. And so their population is naturally decreasing. I mean, we may be a quote-unquote secular nation. I think we're a Christian nation, but with secular influences. But I'm not sure secularism can withstand this. I think it's collapsing.
Interesting.
Well,
Dwayne,
with
what do
all
you think?
situations, with all situations, you can take any literature, and of course, Bill, as we've said before, we can take the statistics and treat them like loose women. Once you get them, you can do anything you want with them. And Jeff, please know that we are trying to save you from this kind of activity. So shh. But go on with everything. You can sit there and find some line of text in any religious context. Even Buddha had items that were kind of questionable when he spoke about people. The bigger part we need to sit there and be thankful for is the gentleman who, and I say the gentleman because I'm trying to be kind, is the guy who had the abortion clinic here in the Springs. He died a couple of weeks ago, so no longer on the payroll of the Colorado taxpayers for the murders that he committed because he was insane. And we need to sit there and continue to be vigilant. America isn't what it used to be. Colorado Springs is not the city I grew up in. I cannot believe the amount of homeless and other people that are out on the streets now for things. And our state is different. Our country is different. And we need to, get off the sink and grab some solid caffeinated drinks and start looking around and going, if we don't fix this today, it won't be fixed in a week.
And Dwayne, I do think that numbers matter because I think there's tipping points. So, for instance, illegal immigration has been a problem in our country for 25 years. But when Joe Biden allowed 10 to 14 million, somebody says 20 million illegal immigrants in, well, now it becomes a national emergency. We got to address it. You get all the ICE stuff. Colorado has 1% Muslims. France and other European countries have somewhere between 15 and 30% Muslims. I think that numbers matter in this question, in this discussion. What's the percentage of the population that can be Muslim where America still maintains its values?
Words talk and numbers scream, and you have to assimilate. You look at the Somali situation up in Minnesota and all the things that are going on. They're not assimilating. They're creating their own little country inside. And that's our biggest worry as far as immigration goes.
Well, do you have a number?
Yeah, and the other one is, the idea of the Somali thing doing, greed and corruption. Some could argue that they learned very well. We can all go back to Enron and other companies. So saying that type of behavior is un-American, we got a long list of Americans wearing the red, white, and blue that have done similar things.
Yeah, Dwayne, we got to just get to a break. Appreciate it.
We got around, Dwayne. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Bill. All right, you're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. guy that wrote this was recovering from tuberculosis in the hospital. Yeah, that's all we need to know about this one. He wanted to escape the hospital bed. So that's the inspiration comes from this one. He's like, I just got to get out of this damn bed.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Barney, Denver. Good morning, Barney. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, morning.
Hey, morning, Bill. You amaze me, man. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it. Shh, don't tell anyone. Shh.
No, buddy. It's awesome. So I want to say to the officer that shot the guy on the bridge, give that man a Pabst Blue Ribbon. That little head kept popping up, and I think it was the third time was the charm. He whacked him. Give that man a Pabst Blue Ribbon, just like a carnival.
They drink Foster's down there? Foster's.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. And to the Syrian guy that pulled the rifle from the guy, you watch that. That guy was afraid. He still did it. Give him a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
He ran up. I didn't like the angle. I would have wanted to have been a little more behind the guy when I ran up on him, but he could have been shot. That guy could have turned on him like instantly.
Oh, yeah.
Pabst Blue Ribbon for him, too. And, Aaron, I hate to disagree with you. I'm not putting my family in any kind of a slaughter zone, so I would say if it's a Christmas celebration, Jewish, whatever, just look at it. Starts from the outside in. It always does. The shooting at the schools start outside, usually. The shootings at Walmart start outside. Now,
we got to run, Barney.
Barney, great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thoughts.
Man.
I love that. Always great to hear from Barney.
Nice to hear
We'll
from
continue. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
This is KNUS.